Hi, I'm the Nabba Duncan, and this is Inside the Music.
It's Canada Day, up Canada Way, on the first day of July.
Stompin Tom Connors is a Canadian icon. Tom's written hundreds of songs, all of them about Canada and things Canadian, and all of them written, it seems, as easily as breathing. And I won't even bother naming his songs. You know them. That hat, the stompin' board, that voice, like gravel in a bucket. It's kind of difficult to explain Stompin' Tom to non-Canadians, but there's something in the man, his honesty, his sincerity, his plain speaking, and his celebration of our land and its people that appeals to the best in us and makes him a genuine folk hero. Today on the show, the talkin', singin', stompin' Tom Hour, the man himself, through the songs he's written and the interviews he's given over the last 50 years. It's produced and presented by Philip Coulter.
We raise our hands and hail our flag, the maple leaf forever. We raise our hands and hail our flag, the maple leaf forever.
It's easy to take Stompin' Tom Connors for granted. Seems as if he's always been here, like the great rivers, the endless plains, the mighty mountains. And like them, sometimes you forget how special Tom is. He's certainly unique, and no marketing department could have dreamed him up. But somehow the skinny country and western singer with the crashing boot has come to stand for something bigger than all of us, an idea of Canada. Who else but Stompin' Tom Connors could have come up with a hit song about a trucker and a load of potatoes?
It's Bud the Spud from the bright red mud, rolling down a highway smiling. The Spuds are big on the back of Bud's rig. They're from Prince Edward Island. They're from Prince Edward Island.
Born in New Brunswick, raised in Skinner's Pond, PEI, Stompin' Tom Connors is Canada's most popular country singer. And today on Checkup, we'll be talking with him about his songs, about his experiences, and about his view of this country. We want you to do the same, particularly those of you from PEI.
It's Bud the Spud from the bright red mud, rolling down the highway smiling.
I'm Harry Elton, and now with Stompin' Tom Connors, our host and moderator, Pierre Pasco.
Thank you very much, Harry. I don't need to introduce Stompin' Tom Connors. I think his song did it just fine. He's in front of me. Did you ever expect Bud the Spud to become your most popular song?
No, I didn't, Pierre. As a matter of fact, it was a song that was written kind of quickly. I actually wrote the song in Peterborough, Ontario, and I wanted to write a song about the Prince Edward Island potatoes. And a friend of mine who was another country artist, Bud Roberts, he wanted me to write him a truck driving song. And the two songs were coming into my mind at the same time. And I was trying to write one, and I couldn't get it written, and I tried to write the other one, and I couldn't. So what actually happened, I put the two of them together, and I got the potatoes on the back of the truck, and I was away with a song called Bud the Spud.
When you're writing a song, do you know if it's going to become very popular?
No, there's no way of telling, Pierre. The song sometimes that you think is going to be the big one turns out to be the little one, and the unsuspected is usually the one that goes places.
What's your favorite song?
Well, it'll have to be Bud the Spud, I guess, because it's the one that was my first national hit.
It's Bud the Spud on the bright red mud, rolling down the highway smiling, because he's got another big load of the best doggone potatoes that's ever been growed. And they're from Prince Edward Island. They're from Prince Edward Island.
That's Stompin' Tom Connors on the CBC phone-in show Cross Country Checkup back in 1973, talking with host Pierre Pasco. We'll be hearing excerpts from that show and others for the rest of the hour, along with lots of Tom's music, of course. Songs about hockey, Sudbury, Irish moss harvesters in PEI, the Burrard Street Bridge in Vancouver. You name it, if it's Canadian, odds are that Tom's written a song about it. Here he is talking to Peter Zosky on Morningside in 1988.
Are you sorry about that, the part of you that was almost a caricature, you know, the thing that, as you said, got them in the door?
No,
did it ever
really.
cover up what you were really saying, you know?
Well,
Did you sometimes wish you hadn't done that?
The media, yes. The media didn't see the serious side of Stompin' Tom. And I had problems with that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't mind them talking about the boots, the boards, and all that kind of thing, as long as they would put 50% of the time the words in that I would have liked to have said.
Yeah.
Instead of editing out of a lot of the conversations that I had, they wanted more of the, as I say, the boots, the boards, and the hats, and the shows, and this kind of thing, rather than knowing who I was and what it was I was trying to do. I could tell you a story. I'll try to make it as quick as I can. Right in the Maple Leaf Hotel where I started out in Timmins. I was playing on the stage there, and there was a group of exchange teachers that had just come back from Germany. I sat with them, and here's what they told me. They said, we just come back from Germany, and while we were over there, we were invited to many German people's houses and things like that, and sat with other teachers over there, and we had parties, naturally. And when it came time for entertainment, there was always somebody that had an accordion or something like this, and they would sing songs about different parts of Germany and this kind of thing, and it was a nice rousing thing, and everybody was happy. And then they'd look at us and they'd say, now, don't be shy, sing a song about Canada.
Yeah.
Come on, join in, and we'd like to hear songs about your country too. And they said we were nonplussed, we were finished at that moment, because there was no songs about Canada. The only thing any of us could think of was "Oh Canada." And now we're back from Germany after spending a year over there, and now we come here, and of all places, we just came to have a nice quiet conversation, and we're sitting in the Maple Leaf Hotel listening to the only guy that we've ever heard in our lives standing live on a stage and singing songs galore about this country. And when they said words like that to me, just in a small little hotel in a town called Timmins, that stuck with me, and it made me know that I was on the right track. So the world has to hear about Canada, and Canadians have to hear about Canada.
Where would I be if I told you I'm standing on a hill, looking at the ocean all around to give my heart a thrill? Near the sky, away up high, if I look down and see that little nook called Kitty's Brook, can you tell me where I'd be? Where would I be? Where would I be? If I see boats and buoy floats, horse-drawn carts and friendly folks, capes of red that shed the rolling sea, where would I be? You tell me. Where would I be? You tell me.
Cross-country checkup, where are you calling from?
From Montreal?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I'd like to say Stompin Tom is doing a great job today.
Are you from Newfoundland yourself?
Yes, sir, I am.
Do you feel homesick when you listen to Tom?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
What touches you most in his songs?
Mostly his natural way of bringing the song out. Is there's nothing. It doesn't seem to be anything phony about it's so easy, like it's so natural. Tom, if you're going down to Newfoundland, I have a message delivered to Newfoundland.
Okay.
Well, people down in Newfoundland, you'll soon be in for a treat to meet a good Canadian man who sings and stomps his feet. You'll just love his natural way that he sings his song. So people down in Newfoundland, be watching for Stompin Tom.
Well,
thank you very much, sir.
Very much.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Hello out there, we're on the air, it's hockey night tonight. Tension grows, the whistle blows, and the puck goes down the ice. The goalie jumps, the players bump, the fans all go insane. Someone roars, Bobby scores at the good old hockey game. Oh, the good old hockey game is the best game you can name. And the best game you can name is the good old hockey game. Second period.
Well, we have a tape of a Canadian singer, Tom Connors. he was interviewed last night at the Horseshoe Tavern in Toronto by Volkmar Richter, and he explained some of these things about writing songs and where a country singer comes from and so on. And at the beginning of the tape, just before the beginning of the tape, Volkmar Richter asked Tom Connors, why is it that the Canadian country singers tend mostly to be Maritimers?
Well, I think probably what it is because there's so many large families down there, and they haven't got enough work for all the young fellers, and as soon as they're old enough, they haven't got anything much to do, and if they can't fish or farm, they pick up a guitar or a fiddle or something, and they pick away on it, and they're just they live close to the land and close to the water, and they like music, and I think this is probably the reason why they're so musical down in the Maritimes. On the farm there, with nothing much to think about except a simple life, well, the radio was a big source of entertainment for us, and we used to listen to old Hank Snow and Wolf Carter on the radio when I was a kid, and this is how I had the desire. I always wanted to grow up and, do what they did.
Where'd you get your first guitar?
I bought it from a fella in a boarding house when I ran away from home. I was 13, and I bought it from a fella in a boarding house in St. John, New Brunswick, and he was a French fella from Shippigan. And he sold it to me for $3, and mind you, I didn't get a very good deal, but I started plinking away on it, and one thing led to another, and I started writing songs. I already had some written at that time. When I was 11 years old, as a matter of fact, I wrote the first one. It was called My Reversing Falls Darling. I still sing it.
How old are you now?
I'm 32.
And how many songs have you written now?
Over 400 now.
How many of those do you sing?
About 350 of them. And they're all Canadian, pretty well. I'd say about 85% of them are Canadian content.
When you write a song, what kind of theme do you write about?
I write about the people that I expect to be singing to. Like, I might be walking down the street and see a street cleaner or a streetcar driver or a truck driver or something, and maybe stop and have a conversation with them, just the time of the day, and you'd be surprised some of the stories that they have to tell, and then I digest it all and go home, and as soon as I get in the mood, I write 2 or 3 songs sometimes a day.
Hockey game, oh, the good old hockey game is the best game you can name, and the best game you can name is the good old hockey game. Oh, the good old hockey game is the best game you can name, and the best game you can name is the good old hockey game. Oh, the good old hockey game is the best game you can name, and the best game you can name is the good old hockey game.
Stompin Tom Connors and the Hockey Song. Titles don't get any simpler than that, and the song itself, raw and cheery, catches much of what we love about the game. Tom was talking with Volkmar Richter on Robert Fulford's radio show in 1969. Stompin Tom has written hundreds and hundreds of songs, just about all of them, as he says, telling the stories of people he might meet on the streets of Canada. Here's Tom on the CBC radio show Summer Supplement in 1973.
Ottawa is a mighty good town. They never turn a maple leaf upside down. Here's the Ottawa and the land we love. Can anyone here name the capital of British Columbia? Victoria is a mighty good town. They never turn a maple leaf upside down.
I was short a nickel for a bottle of beer in the Maple Leaf Hotel in Timmins, and the waiter said that if I took out my guitar and sang a few tunes, that he'd give me all the beer I could drink. So needless to say, that night, after a few songs later, I didn't remember too much about going to bed, but anyway, they put me up in the Maple Leaf there and give me a job for $35 a week, and I was there for 14 months. I wrote songs about my own home of Prince Edward Island with Bud the Spud, about the potatoes. And when I used to work on the coal boat over in Newfoundland and all through there.
I left Cape Breton on the coal boat for St. John's, Newfoundland. And I met a little girl named Sally, and I took her by the little white hand. She shook her little head and said, "No way, Fred, I won't go along with your plan. You've been working on the coal boat, boy, and you're nothing but a dirty old man. You've been working on the coal boat, boy, and you're nothing but a dirty old man."
There was a big waiter down in the King George Hotel in Peterborough. And I used to stomp my foot anyway, and at that time I was carrying a board around with me so I wouldn't destroy the carpets in the hotels where I played. Otherwise I couldn't get a job. So anyway, this waiter, I come in one night, and this waiter, Boyd McDonald was his name, and he come in. He says, "Here he is, folks, once again, Stompin' Tom." And from that second on, I knew, I guess forever, that that's what my name was going to be as long as I picked up a guitar and sang.
Hello, friends. This is Stompin' Tom Connors, and I'd like to dedicate this song to that old Alberta cowboy himself, Wolf Carter. From the Maritimes to Boston, now the wheat fields of the West and the plains of old Alberta, they just seem to suit him best. Punching cows and breaking horses was the life he loved to lead, and you'd always see Wolf Carter at the Calgary Stampede. And Wolf would always yodel-dee-dee on the streets of Calgary with his yodel-dee-dee.
The first three chords I learned, the three of them were wrong. A French fellow from down Shippagan, New Brunswick, taught me the first three chords in a boarding house down in St. John when I was working on the docks down there. And it was funny, you know, because he sold me the guitar, too, for $19, and the damn thing wasn't worth $3, you know. That was my first guitar. And after I started buying a couple of books, I realized these chords, they're non-existent, you know. And then when the sound started coming to me, I realized why they were non-existent. But I'm telling you, I used to have a big bar inside my bedroom door in the boarding house, because all these fellas coming in and going to work, you know, they'd hammer on that door and they'd say, "If we ever get a hold of you, we're going to bash that thing right over your head," you know. And I used to sit in there just shivering and shaking, hoping that bar would hold.
Down on old Prince Edward Island, when the winds are on the blow, and the ocean water's rolling through the reefs and rocks below, and the Irish moss comes drifting where the white-cap waters roar, with my scoop and my fork and my wagon and horse, I'll be heading on down the shore. With my scoop and my fork and my wagon and horse, I'll be heading on down the shore. On old Prince Edward Island.
Cross-country checkup, where are you calling from?
Turbine Heights.
Yes, sir. Where is that?
That's about 12 miles from Montreal.
Oh, okay. Yes.
I'd like to talk to Stompin' Tom.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Tom.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm originally from Tignish.
From Tignish?
Yes, sir.
What's your name?
Joe Richard.
Joe Richard.
Yeah.
How are you?
Not bad at all.
Lord God,
Well,
what are you doing up around?
on your wonderful singing.
Oh, thank you very much.
It's really a
Listen,
pleasure to
we got
down
some
Homer singing, boy.
we got some folks from down home listening to the radio right now too.
Have they?
Yeah, so why don't you just say hello?
Hello there, Prince Edward Island, Tignish. It's wonderful, Tom. I don't know. I don't remember you too much, but my brother knows you well, Freddie. He's in Toronto.
Oh, sure, that's right. Yeah, I've seen Freddie a few times.
I think you seen him on your way down at Christmas there at the restaurant. You were stopped there.
Yeah,
You were down there. He said he was talking to you.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, you're doing a good job.
Well, thank you very much.
And that Bud the Spud there, that's a wonderful song.
Okay,
Well, do you all islanders know each other like that, by name?
Boy, we're together, boy.
Yeah, pretty well.
Well, keep the good work up, and I never miss you.
Okay.
On TV,
Okay, thanks a lot for calling.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Goodbye.
you. Thank you.
There's an islander somewhere lonesome, 'cause he can't be home today. to have a little sip of the moonshine and haul another load away. In the land of the great potato, where the lobster feeds her wild, and we thank the boss for the Irish moss on old Prince Edward Isle. We thank the boss for the Irish moss down on old Prince Edward Isle.
You didn't have a very happy childhood.
No, I didn't. I was quite mixed up from being born illegitimately. Then I spent my first years of my life hitchhiking around the country with my mother. Then I was taken away from her by the authorities. I landed in an orphanage for a couple of years, and I was adopted from there to Skinner's Pond by Mr. and Mrs. Russell Aylward.
Who are listening to you at
yes, I'd like to
time.
say hi to Russ and Mum down there, too, if you're listening. And I hope, I understand, Russ, you've had a little bit of trouble here. You've been sick or something for a while, and I hope it doesn't last too long, and get yourself back on your feet.
I was born in old St. John, New Brunswick by the sea. Back in 1936, it was just my mom and me. And as she wandered through the land, shunned by family, she often had to beg for bread while I was only 3. She taught me to hitchhike and to face the road alone, and sing about what life was like for those that had no home.
What about your natural mother? Have you been in touch with her?
Yes, matter of fact, coming home from PEI, when I was down there for New Year's, I stopped by in Montreal, and I seen my mom there for several hours, and, you know, we talked about things from days gone by. I'm kind of still her little boy, you know. We really don't have that much in common anymore, because it's been so many years since that I knew her, you know, as a mother. But she's very proud of me, and
at one time you had lost her completely. You didn't even know where she was.
Oh yeah.
How did you find her?
Well, yeah, that's a thing in itself. After I landed in St. John, New Brunswick, when I was about 13. Going on 14, and I always looked around for a woman with black hair and a thumb off at the first joint on the right hand. And
that's all you remembered of your mother?
That's all, and I remembered her name, of course. And she often told me when I was a kid, too, that if we ever got separated or anything, that she pointed out to me about the birthmark on my neck, just a small one. That she'd always known me by that.
When I was 13 years of age, I couldn't take no more. I ran away from home one day and left my island shore. And while the Mounties everywhere were looking for their man, on a merchant ship from old St. John, I sailed for Newfoundland. And away out on the Grand Banks, the truth came like a knife. A drifter I would always be upon the roads of life.
So the years ticked on, and when I was 14 in St. John, I was standing on a street corner with a bunch of teenagers and just gabbing away as kids will do. And I had always followed every woman up and down the streets that had black hair, looking to see if she had a thumb off on the right hand. And anyhow, I was standing there talking, and this woman came by with 2 little girls, one on each side, and the youngest one dropped her ice cream, and the hand of this woman shot down to pick up the ice cream cone and kind of clean it off, and I noticed the thumb was off on the right hand.
Then one night in Timmins Town, North Ontario, they said, if you can sing, we'll keep you around for a week or so. I packed the place for 14 months, and before they let me go, I'm driving a car, I got a new guitar, and I'm singing on the radio. From there, this old hitchhiker, he was on his road to fame,
with bud to spud from the bright red mud and the good old hockey game.
So I walked up behind her and I asked her if her name was Isabel Connors, and she said, yes, what's it to you, type of thing. And so I said, well, I think you're my mother, and I opened my shirt collar up, and she kind of lost her balance. I guess she fainted or something for a minute or so, and I kind of grabbed a hold of her, and of course, just being a kid of 14, I didn't know too much either what to say or how to react either, and the two little girls started to cry, and they didn't know what was happening, of course, and I remember telling her not to cry, and I was really uptight, and I hadn't seen my mother then after that incident for another good many years.
And when the party was over, I began to write this song, and tonight you've heard me sing the words to the ballad of Stompin' Tom. Tonight you've heard me sing the words to the ballad of Stompin' Tom. Oodly, oodly, oodly.
So are your songs basically stories that you tell?
They are, yeah. They're all about the happenings of the man on the street. I just wanted to write about a man and his work, and there's always a story, a little bit of love or broken love in it, you know. These are the things, for some reason, that people want to hear. Like mostly all your country and western hit songs have been, as you say, about broken love and, the sadder aspects of living, and that happens to the ordinary person.
How would you tell a country and western song apart from any other kind of song? What has to be there?
Well, I think it's the story. It's a story pretty well from beginning to end. You can take from the words of it, if you listen to the words, that something has happened, and it tells the story from the beginning to the end pretty well how it happened. It's something like a folk song. City people are listening because I'm singing about their cities and about them. It's them I'm singing about, and I know by the expressions on people's faces that when they come in to sit down and listen, they're hearing something about themselves, and they like it.
What did you said it took you 15 years to get into this business. What did you do during those 15 years?
Well, I roamed the country, and I gained a lot of experience. I sailed merchant sea on the freighters and tankers, and I rode the freight trains from coast to coast about a dozen times, and hitchhiked all over the place, and I met people from small towns, cities. I met white-collar people, I met bums, I talked to them all, and I just garnered a great deal of experience and it's coming in handy now for writing. And I haven't had an easy time myself, so I know what the hard times are like, and this is what I write about.
I'm Nanaba Duncan. Today on Inside the Music, you're listening to the Talkin', Singin', Stompin' Tom Hour, a portrait of the 76-year-old Stompin' Tom Connors through the songs he's written and the interviews he's given over the years. It's produced and presented by Philip Coulter.
I've been all across this country, from the East Coast to the West, and I've been asked about 1,000 times what places I like best. Well, I've had to base my answers on the friendly people I've found, and if you're inclined to take the time, this is where you'll find my stomping grounds. Just take a little piece of PEI and old Saskatchewan, Nova Scotia.
Cross-country checkup, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Masset in the Queen Charlotte Islands, British Columbia.
Hello, madam, you're on the air.
and hello, Tom.
Hi there. We got another Islander from the West Coast, have we?
That's right, and there's lots of us up here.
Yeah, I wanted to get out there to the islands when I was up last fall there and last summer, but I didn't get a chance to. But I certainly hope to the next time.
Yes, next time you come up to Rupert, you'll have to come over. We're on an entertainment circuit up here now.
Do you like Stompin Tom Connors?
Yes, and my husband is a bigger fan than I am, but he's too chicken to talk on the telephone.
Why don't you grab him and bring him?
Bill, come here. We send tapes home. We get tapes sent out from Prince Edward Island of all your records, Tom.
Oh, fine and dandy.
And we have them all playing in the mess here. Here's my husband, Bill.
Hello, Bill.
How are you doing, buddy?
Just fine and dandy.
Geez, it's great to hear your voice.
Same to you.
Geez, that's great to hear down Homer.
Yeah, so how long you been out there now?
Oh, I've been out here, I came up here about 6 months ago, but I've been out west since 67.
Yeah.
I hope to go home in a couple of months for a little while.
Oh, good. I'll be glad to see you.
Yeah, well, glad to hear you, Tom.
You're living in a nice part of the country out there, too.
Oh, yeah, nice country, but nothing beats Spud Island, you know.
Thank you for calling us, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Goodbye.
And old Saskatchewan, Nova Scotia and New Brunswick, Quebec and Newfoundland, Alberta and Manitoba, Ontario and BC, and you'll have found the stomping grounds of all my friends and me. And you'll have found the stomping grounds of all my friends and me. Just take a little piece of PEI and old Saskatchewan.
I knew very early in my career that there was no way I was going to get people into a hotel door by standing there and singing like the rest of people. I had to do something different. And so let's say the boot and the board got them in the door, because that made people talk. They said, you should come and see this guy ripping boards apart.
Yeah.
And the sawdust flies everywhere, and it's into your drink, and it's on your clothes, and it's all over the place, and you can go up and get a matchbox full of sawdust just to prove to people that this happened and all this kind of thing. But the second time they came to see me wasn't to see me bang my boot into the board. It was to hear what I was singing.
C-A-N-A-D-A. Tell me, what's a Douglas fir? C-A-N-A-D-A. Bet you never heard a bobcat purr. C-A-N-A-D-A. Have you ever seen a lobster crawl? In Canada, we get to see them all. We get to see
There's more to singing than just singing. You have to be an entertainer. When I was out there, I know for a fact that the people in every room that I ever played, they became friends instantly, because when I seen two tables sitting together and they weren't talking to one another, I would introduce them right off the stage, one to the other, and say, hey, grab that guy by the hand, and because he's a fisherman from Newfoundland and you're a lumberjack from Northern Ontario, why don't you get to know each other? And I'd sing a song for each of them, and next thing you know, Stompin' Tom was the go-between, and I'd say, well, I'll be down to have a brew with you after there or something, and so we'd go down and we'd all talk, and the next thing they put the two tables together, and from that time on they're friends.
In C-A-N-A-D-A, where adventure ever calls, in Canada we get to see them all. I say in Canada we get to see them all.
That stuff appeals to people who are the average working Joe. I mean, people on the street or in pubs or taverns or wherever you want to go or on the job, they don't speak guardedly. I mean, whatever comes to their mind, they say, and it's just a natural thing.
But
so
when you write,
there's
there's no fat in there, there's no extra adjectives, there's no noodling around. You write hard?
I come right to the point, yeah.
Is it hard for you to write?
No, not really. If I decide next week to write a dozen songs, I'll write a dozen songs. I don't have any problem that way.
19 scarlet roses the chaplain spread around in the waters of Burrard Inlet in old Vancouver town, where the bridge came tumbling down. When the bridge came tumbling down, 19 men were drowned in June of 1958 in old Vancouver town. There were 7
Cross-country checkup, where are you calling from?
Yes, I'm calling from Terrace, B.C.
Hello.
Terrace.
Is
Yeah.
Stompin Tom there?
That's me.
Oh, hi, how are you doing, sir?
Pretty good.
Good.
What's your name?
Tom Coford.
What did you want to ask Tom?
Yeah, I'd just like to say I like a couple of your songs the most because they hit pretty close to home, you know?
Like what?
For instance, that one you put out about the bridge came tumbling down, about the second Narrows Bridge.
That's right, yeah.
In among the twisted girders, one man realized how last night he'd been dreaming and saw before his eyes the big wind on the rise. And the bridge came tumbling down, and 19 steel men drowned. And he saw the fright of the darkest night in old Vancouver town. With frogmen in the water.
Just so happens one of my brother-in-laws was the one who was one of the 18 that didn't survive that.
Oh, that's too bad.
Brings back sort of memories, you know?
Yeah, I know what you mean, because I have met other people, too, who were directly involved in that, and it was quite a thing. You know, like when I wrote and sang the song, I certainly, you know, didn't mean any harm or anything to the people who were directly involved, but I thought that these things in Canada should be really brought out so that the rest of the people in Canada can hear these stories and to know that it was real live people involved in it, not just something you read in a book. It often makes you wonder, in strength who has the edge, the longest steel beam structure that spans the highest ridge, or the men that built the bridge. For the bridge came tumbling down, and 19 men were drowned, but the other men came back again to lay the new beams down. Now if you're ever crossing this mighty bridge sublime, and 19 scarlet roses pass before your mind, remember and be kind. The bridge came tumbling down, and 19 men were drowned, so you could ride to the other side of old Vancouver town. So you could ride to the other side of old Vancouver town.
How do you feel when you hear the song, sir?
Oh, I don't feel too bad. I think it's a well-done song, and it, you know, don't create any hard feelings or anything, you know. It's just brings back sort of memories, you know.
When I was young, I had an old guitar, and I learned to sing and play from a book I bought on how to be a star, written in the USA. And every movie that I seen had a message just for me. If you want to be a big country star, you go to Nashville, Tennessee. That's my song.
If you want to be a big country star, you go to Nashville, Tennessee. Stompin' Tom's songs are all about one thing, Canada. And in 1978, he took deep exception to Canadian singers who go to the United States to make their careers. The occasion was the 1978 Juno Awards, when the big winner for country music was Ronnie Prophet, who, as Tom saw it, had lost his Canadian identity by working so much in the U.S. For Stompin' Tom, enough was enough. He packed up his own 6 Juno Awards and sent them back. Then he stopped performing in public for 11 years.
Well, the main thing that I want to say is to all Canadians, I'd like to draw their attention to the fact that the main reason why they themselves are not familiar with an awful lot of song that is being written about our country and about the people in it is because it's not getting played on radio stations. It seems that because you mention something about our country in a song, all of a sudden these same radio stations I'm referring to say, hey, that's too regional, or that's too Canadian, or that's too something. It doesn't fit our format. It's no good. When you turn a radio on in this country, you hear about every other nation in the world, but you don't hear about this one.
And the boys are getting stinkle. We think no more of Inco on a Saturday night. The glasses they will tinkle when our eyes begin to twinkle, and we think no more of Inco on a Saturday night.
I want to go back to Timmins. I don't know the Maple Leaf Hotel. I did my beer drinking at what we call the Double L. Do you know that one?
You're damn right. Just around the corner.
The Lady Laurier, right, in Timmins.
Across from CKGB Radio.
That's it, right. In those days, a young guy gets up with a guitar and starts singing those kind of songs, the songs that you were singing. People would listen. I mean, they'd listen a bit. There was no shuffleboard, I don't think. There was just to have a draft.
No, I think if you're leading to what I think you're leading to, you're wrong, Peter, because as long as you got the heart and soul to do it, because I was laughed at then.
Yeah.
I mean, it became the talk of Timmins that every club in town, I mean, I got tossed out of a couple of joints before I hit the Maple Leaf. Nobody knows about that, but that's the fact.
Yeah.
And when I got up to audition, I mean, it was a laughing stock. I mean, they were used to having anywhere from a 3 to a 5-piece band in these hotels.
Mm-hmm.
And I think really one of the only reasons that the Maple Leaf took me, they had no entertainment at all at the time. And they just said, well, we'll try them for a weekend. What's it going to hurt?
Some people were laughing at you, weren't they?
Oh, definitely. Lots and lots and lots.
And that never bothered you, or?
Well, yes, it did, but you don't care if they laugh at you or what they do. I mean, let them do whatever they like, because they're being entertained. If they're laughing at you, regardless for what reason, at least they're laughing. You're there to entertain. You're a servant of the people. You're not above the people. You're a servant of the people.
Yeah, the girls in the bingo and the boys are getting stingo. We think no more of Inco on a Saturday night. The glasses they will tinkle when our eyes begin to twinkle, and we think no more of Inco on a Saturday night. We think no more of Inco on a Saturday night.
Got a question for Tom. I was wondering what you've gone a long ways since the mid-'60s, Tom. What's success doing to you?
What's it doing to me?
Yeah.
It's not changing me a damn bit, for one thing. And I don't know, I still eat one meal a day and what have you, and
Why is that?
Pick around. I never was used to eating when I was on the road in the rough times, and I still enjoy opening a can of sardines or something, or a can of beans once in a while, and I don't know, I eat very meagerly, and I'm still the same guy.
Well, now that you've become famous and important and all that, do you think it would be possible for you to go back and do the old jobs you used to do?
Oh, yeah, it's entirely possible, because if everything fell through tomorrow, I wouldn't think twice of throwing my old guitar over my back and hitting the road again.
What is the job you hated most in your life?
Well, priming tobacco in Tilsonburg was a pretty tough job, and I've done a lot of dirty jobs, like, collecting garbage and, digging graves, and, I was a short order cook, too, and that was a pretty sloppy job, because I was the cook.
How about living in Toronto? That sounds like it might be one of the dirtier jobs, too.
Well, not exactly, although the air isn't quite as clear here as down in Labrador, but I have to make the best of it.
Hey, Tom, you ever been to Tilsonburg?
Tilsonburg? My back still aches when I hear that word. While away down southern Ontario, I never had a nickel or a dime to show. A fella beeped up in an automobile. He said, you want to work in the tobacco fields of Tilsonburg.
Well, I was just bumming the roads, and I heard that there was such a thing down in southwestern Ontario as tobacco, and I had no trade of any kind, and it didn't look like in those days that I'd ever make anything from writing songs or singing, playing the guitar, or nothing like that. That was a real hobo, just roaming around the countryside. And any job that I got was usually a hard one because it was straight labor. So I went because there was more money priming tobacco for doing a day's work than there was at any other labor job in the country. I'd been used to quite a bit of hard work from, Prince Edward Island, picking potatoes one thing and another. And so I thought, well, I'd be able to tackle it pretty good. So the first day in the field, it wasn't too bad, but the second morning when you wake up, that's when it really hurts. Your back starts to get to you. And I'd say the hardest days in tobacco is the second day, third, and fourth. Now, these days, you're picking sand leaves. And this is right at the bottom of the plant, the lowest leaves on the plant. And you go along and you pick off your sand leaves. It's 2 or 3 leaves at the bottom of the plant, like until they're all picked. Then you go back through the field again and you pick seconds, and then you around again thirds, etc., 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 until you get to the tips.
He said, I'll only give you $7 a day, but if you're any good, you get a raise in pay. Your bed's already on the bunkhouse floor. If it gets a little chilly, you can close the door. Tilsonburg, Tilsonburg. It was Tilsonburg, Tilsonburg. My back still aches when I hear that word.
If you got a fast crew, I've seen us be finished at maybe 1:30 in the afternoon. I've seen me another year where I was working with a slow crew and we never got finished till 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the evening. Bend over continually and you got to run like hell. Why I say run is because about the speed that a horse can walk from one end, a slow horse I'm talking about, because usually they're draft horses that they use to haul the little sleds with boxes on them they call a boat through the fields. And by the time he can walk from one end of a row to the other end, you got to have your row picked. And if you get behind, of course, you keep getting further behind because you have to run from where you stopped picking with an armful of leaves, and you run to wherever the boat is if it's ahead of you. Well, then you have to run back and you lose time. The horse keeps on going, so you get further behind, further behind, further behind.
He said to pick just the bottom leaves and don't start crawling on your hands and knees. Prime your row 'cause you'll get no pay for standing there picking at your nose all day round Tilsonburg. Tilsonburg, Tilsonburg, Tilsonburg. My back still aches when I hear that word.
There's no breezes at all in a tobacco field. The sun is usually very hot, although early in the morning the dew is very, very heavy and it's cold. So you get out there in the morning, you're freezing to death, and around about 9 or 10 o'clock when the sun starts to get hot, and from then on till 1, 2, 3 in the afternoon, it's really beating down on you, and you have to strip right to your bare necessities, and away you go. You get full of this tobacco tar all over your skin pretty well, and you have special kind of soap and that to clean it off with. You never really get it off until a month after tobacco harvest is all over. So anyway, you work like hell. The sooner you get so many sticks, like you have the women tying the tobacco leaves onto these sticks. The sticks are for hanging in a barn called a kill, where they cure the tobacco. You go like this for about 7 weeks until a crop is finally primed and put in the kilns and cured. No matter how often and how long you work in tobacco, I think your memory of working in the tobacco fields all comes from that first 2 or 3 days. Some guys last an hour, some guys last a day, some last 3 days, some a week. You don't really make friends with the other guy until, you've worked with them for 2 or 3 weeks, and when the weak ones are weeded out, if you know what I mean, then you look at the other fella and you say, well, he stuck it. Then you start making friends. And you find that after you've worked in the tobacco fields with somebody for even 1 season, you become friends for a long time.
Now there's one thing you can always bet. If I never smoke another cigarette, I might get taken in a lot of deals, but I won't go work in the tobacco fields of Tilsonburg.
Tilsonburg,
Tilsonburg,
Tilsonburg.
my back still aches when I hear that word. My back still aches when I hear that word. My back still aches when I hear that word. My back still aches when I hear that word. My back still aches when I hear.
Are you a very tender man? Are you a very soft man? You seem to get touched by many things.
Well, I am, Pierre, in a way, quite emotional about things. I really like to see other people when they accomplish things, when they're doing something that they're proud of, and if I'm looking at it from the outside, it really makes my emotions kind of run wild. You know, I really get choked up when I see somebody else happy because of their accomplishments, regardless how small or how big.
Are you a very sentimental man?
Yes, I am, quite a bit. I like the down-to-earth type of things. Some of the simplest things in life make me happy. I'm not one that goes for a lot of loudness or sensationalism or that kind of thing. You know, great noises and all this. It doesn't do much to me, but it's just the individual accomplishments that really make me proud.
I've been all across this country.
I don't know what it is about Stompin Tom Connors. In a changing world, he's a solid rock. The songs today are much the same as the songs of 40 years ago, but in a profoundly changed Canada, he still manages to be relevant. Maybe it's because some things never change. Honesty, sincerity, and above all, the ability to tell good stories about the family. And like all family stories, you've got to be part of the family to really get them.
And you'll have found the stomping grounds of all my friends and me. And you'll have.
Can I ask you what you like particularly about Stompin Tom?
He's got the beat.
The beat?
He's Canadian.
Does it make a lot of difference to you that he should be Canadian and sing about Canadian themes?
Yes, it does. An awful lot.
It's Canada Day, up Canada way, on the first day of July. And we're shouting hooray, up Canada way, when the maple leaf flies high. When the silver jets from east to west go streaming through our sky. We'll be shouting hooray, up Canada way, when the great parade goes by. Oh, Canada, standing tall together, we raise our hands and hail our flag, the maple leaf forever.
On Inside the Music, the Talkin', Singin', Stompin' Tom Hour, a portrait of Stompin' Tom Connors through the songs he's written and the interviews he's given over the years. The program was produced and presented by Philip Coulter. Our thanks to CBC Radio Archives for digging through the vaults. It's nice to hear all those old radio shows. For more information or to hear it again, go to our website at cbcmusic.ca/insidethemusic. Stay tuned for more great programming on CBC Radio 1, Radio 2, and Sirius 159. I'm Nanaba Duncan, and this has been Inside the Music. Thanks for listening.
It's Canada Day, up Canada way, when the long cold winter's done. And we're shouting hooray, up Canada way, for the great days yet to come. Where maple trees grow maple leaves when the northern sun is high. We're Canadians and we're born again on the first day of July. Oh, Canada, standing tall together.